You know, in the decades that the Barry Allen version of the Flash has been running around the DC universe, he's gone up against a pretty large collection of villains. Captain Boomerang, Mirror Master, Gorilla Grodd, Trickster, the Cloud Creatures, and a couple random dudes. Yeah, not all of them are going to be rogues material here, folks. Seriously though, out of all the villains Barry's fought, none of them ever really rose to the same level as Eobard Thawne, aka Professor Zoom, aka the Reverse Flash. To be fair though, even with his ridiculous monologues, this dude made a hell of an entrance in his first appearance back in 1963, managing to outclass Barry so bad he almost couldn't stop an accidental nuke from wiping out the city. Even with that defeat though, Eobard went on to be a constant speedy thorn in Barry's side in the early days, ranging from committing crimes all over the world, almost ripping Barry apart just by running circles around him, and, according to Barry himself, moving so fast that Barry was practically standing still by comparison. And that's pretty insane when you think about it, considering how the Flash, back in the days before the Crisis on Infinite Earths reshuffled DC continuity, was pretty broken and had a lot of ridiculous feats under his belt. So with that in mind, how fast could Barry's archenemy go in those pre-Crisis days? Well, let's take a look and find out. Like always, we need a decent base feat to kick things off, and I think we get a decent one in the pages of 1983's The Flash number 324. In that issue, Eobard leads Barry on a big chase all over the world, apparently just to fuck with him, I guess? I mean, his end goal is to eventually kill Barry's new fiancée, Fiona Webb, the same way he originally killed Iris West. So what the point of all this is, I don't really know. Either way, at one point, he manages to run faster than Barry can react, while also casually creating a bunch of sonic booms. I'll come back to this one later, but the immediate takeaway here is that this proves that pre-Crisis Thawne can move faster than the speed of sound, about 767 miles an hour, or about 1,234.8 kilometers an hour. But come on, sound level? That's like early Jay Garrick levels of speed, who cares about that?
Knock it up a notch.
Now that we can definitely do. I mean, there was that one time Eobard pretty much ran circles around Barry and the planet multiple times in 1980's The Flash number 281. Now, I'm not entirely sure what speed we're looking at by the end of it, since we're never exactly told how long the two speedsters were running for towards the end of the race, on top of the fact that we're told they're continually accelerating, but not to what level, but we do get an idea of how fast they were moving at the start of the race at least. We can see here that their initial speed was described as being in the hypersonic category, which starts at about 3,836 miles an hour, or 6,174 kilometers an hour, or Mach 5. Having said that though, I do want to point out that yes, Eobard is clearly moving faster than Barry here, but he also mentions that he basically tricked the Flash into bouncing him further than Barry could reach through some Speed Force bullshit, so make of that what you will. But whatever, that's still child's play compared to some of his faster speeds. Back in Eobard's first appearance in The Flash number 139, we see him outrunning what seems like lasers during his first ever robbery, while also claiming to be moving at the speed of an electron. What exactly he meant by that though, I have no idea. I mean, yeah, there have been tons of calculations where electrons seem like they're moving pretty fast, but that speed also depends on a ton of different factors, including what they're traveling through and how much energy is behind the moving electron in the first place. But for simplicity's sake, let's just say Thawne was running as fast as the electron in a hydrogen atom. How fast is that? Well, that's tough to say. I mean, it's not like we can time an electron as it's orbiting a nucleus, like the original Niels Bohr model made it look, because electrons don't actually orbit anything. Instead, they exist in this weird, negatively charged area referred to as an electron cloud. I mean, theoretically, they can exist just about anywhere, and there's no guarantee you'll run into an electron in any specific spot in this region, but there is a higher probability that you'll find at least one floating around in here somewhere. All that having been said though, we can at least estimate the speed of an electron by using this formula to find the angular momentum of a particle, which is angular momentum equals the mass of, in this case, the electron, times its velocity times the radius. Now we can look at this another way thanks to Bohr trying to explain the emission spectrum of hydrogen, who eventually theorized that, because he was only seeing energy emitted at certain wavelengths, this meant that the angular momentum had to be quantized, making m times v times r equal n, the principal quantum number, times Planck's constant divided by 2 times pi. Rearranging this a bit, we can see that the velocity of an electron in a hydrogen atom would be equal to n times h divided by 2 times pi times m times r. And now that we finally have our formula, we can start plugging in some numbers. For n, I'm gonna assume Eobard's electron quote meant that he was referring to an electron at its lowest energy state, otherwise known as the ground state. So that would make n equal 1. Planck's constant is about 6.63 times 10 to the negative 34 joule seconds, so we can plug that right in here. The mass of an electron is about 9.1 times 10 to the negative 31 kilograms, and the Bohr radius is about 5.3 times 10 to the negative 11 meters, so we can plug those in too, giving us this. Doing the math on that shows us that Thawne, after making assumptions about what the fuck he was talking about with that electron stuff, would be capable of moving at a pretty decent speed of about 4,894,068 miles an hour, or about 7,876,239 kilometers an hour. Yeah, it may only be about 0.73% the speed of light, but it's still fast enough to run around the world in just over 18 seconds. Believe it or not though, that's still nowhere close to the fastest speed that Eobard could reach back in the day. I mean, according to issue number 19 of the Definitive Directory of the DC Universe from back in 1986, Eobard can run at the speed of light. This was reconfirmed multiple times throughout his appearances in the pre-crisis DC Universe, including that fight in issue number 324 when he managed to go faster than Barry can react. And that's insane, considering how ridiculously fast pre-crisis Barry's reactions were. I mean, yeah, he's dodged the usual bullets and lightning and whatever, but he's even casually managed to react to things moving at light speed and faster, like the time when he fought Catmos in the Flash number 105. Catmos, whatever his name is, I don't know. Either way, that means that pre-crisis Eobard was easily capable of running at speeds of about 670,616,629 miles an hour, or about 1,079,252,848 kilometers an hour. But we're still not done yet. As confirmed by Eobard during their very first meeting, and later reconfirmed every time he and Barry fought afterwards, Eobard and Barry are equals in the speed department. This means we can scale Eobard to pretty much all of pre-crisis Barry's feats, including, but not limited to, racing 10 times faster than light, slipping on a banana peel so hard he flew off into space, then used Jupiter to race back to Earth, and, after being turned into a mirror by Mirror Master, moving so fast that he managed to melt himself, then moved fast enough to reform himself.
You think I'm gonna keep going after that? Can't do that.
Yeah, I don't really know if I can explain that one. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Barry was broken as fuck back then. I mean, I guess that's not a total shock, given the crazy shit I was just talking about a minute ago, but still. Anyways, considering how Barry did a bunch of ridiculous stuff back in the pre-crisis days, and he and Eobard are more or less supposed to be equals, I think it's safe to say that pre-crisis Eobard was just as broken and can go just as fast as he wants. Case closed. But anyways guys, that's my take on how fast the Reverse Flash was able to go before the multiverse got nuked in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. If you guys agreed with anything I said in this video, or if you have your own thoughts you want to throw out there, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then go ahead and click that like button, and if you're new, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button too. I've also got links to my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. You should probably check those out too. And if you want to see more of my content, then you can click the link to my last video. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Alright, and I will see you all next time.